Hello and welcome to this crypto masterclass, which is a 5-video series, and this is class number 1. And these classes I'm going to be teaching you how to be a professional trader. Basically, about 2 years ago I uploaded a basic class here on YouTube, and you guys seem to really love it. These are all the comments that are coming from those classes, and thank you so much guys for those feedback. Now this is going to be a more advanced trading class. Now, if you watch this entire video series and you're still not profitable in trading, then you have to quit trading, because clearly trading is not for you. Now, let's just go through an overview of what we're going to be talking about within this class. A lot of people seem to think that crypto traders or people who are trading Forex or stocks are basically selling causes. They are not profitable. So we're going to talk about that, and I'll show you how much I make when it comes to trading the futures market. Then we're going to talk about different market conditions. I'm going to show you different strategies that works in different market conditions. At the time of me recording this video, we are actually at the bear market, but I know that by the time of me uploading this video, we will be more likely in a bull market. So you'll be able to see in different classes the different strategies that you can apply depending on different market conditions. Here we're going to talk about trading in the bear market, trading in the bull market, and if the market is just moving sideways. And obviously knowing the current market sentiment is very essential whenever you're trading the futures market. So that's one of the things that we're going to talk about when it comes to trading the futures market. Then we'll look at some of the key factors when it comes to trading the futures market. And at the time of recording this video, we've got Bitcoin halving coming up, and we also got news events that are coming up in the future that may impact the market with regards to where the market is going next. Then we're going to get started with trading. When we're trading, basically I'm going to be showing you a few things that you need to know when you're trading the futures market. And when we get started, I'm going to show you how long I have been trading, for those of you who say people are not making money when it comes to trading, and traders like myself are just selling causes. For example, you're watching this course on YouTube for free, so don't believe that the people that are always telling you that people are selling courses. Obviously people do sell courses. Most traders or most mentors are not actually profitable. They sell the courses. Basically you're funding the lifestyle, but I like to do things differently. That's why I am publishing all this information for you for free here on YouTube, and I will never sell a trading course. So I'm going to talk about that, and also we're going to talk about how to fund your account. This class is proudly brought to you by Bitget, so we're going to be using Bitget exchange to deliver these trading classes here. And we're going to look at the basic overview of markets and limit orders. We actually touched on this on the class that I dropped 2 years ago, so we're not going to be touching anything basic on this class. We're going to be doing advanced trading. So if you haven't watched those classes, I'm going to leave them in the description of this video so you can watch the basic stuff. So once you know the basic stuff, you can come here and start trading with our advanced trading strategies. Then we're going to look at the technical analysis, because it's very imperative for you as a trader to be able to read charts and basically understand what is more likely to come next on the market. Now let's move on and actually look at chapter 1. So what I have planned for you here on chapter 1, I want to show you how traders or average traders trade, right? So this is an average trader that probably loses 50% of their account or 50% of the trades, but is still profitable in some trades. I'm going to show you how they trade, and later in this class I'm going to be showing you how you can actually become an advanced trader or a pro trader and become a wizard when it comes to trading. So the first 2 or 3 trades that we're going to be taking here, basically, like I said, we're in a bear market. It's going to be, you know, trading techniques that an average Joe would use whenever they're trading. Then later in this class, I'm going to show you trading strategies that can make you win over 98% of all the trades that you're taking, and that's depending on whether or not you're following everything that we're teaching within these classes. And obviously we've got notes and books that we're going to be linking within this class, and all of those are for free if you are part of our Discord community. I'm going to show you in a moment on how to get access to our Discord. Like I said, in chapter 2 we'll then look at advanced trading strategies. Basically I want to be showing you exactly when to short the market, the things that needs to come true before you start shorting the market, the things that needs to come true before you start going long on the market. Like I said, we've got ebooks with our trading strategies, and those ebooks are within our Discord. You can get them for absolutely free. So if you want our Discord, just go to the beginner's guide and you'll be able to download everything that we've prepared for you, and it is all for free. These trading strategies will be based based on market sentiments and also market trends. Like I said, at the time of me recording this video, we are currently on a bear market, so most of the trades that we'll be taking are more suitable for the bear market. Then when we on a bull market, hopefully by the time we are on class number 2, we'll be able to show you how do you go about trading whenever the market is bullish, and how you can hop on a trend and always ride the trend. Obviously, within all these videos, we're going to be doing live trades, and I'm going to be documenting everything you need to know when it comes to trading, so you can always come back to this class here and rewatch it whenever you're feeling like you are missing something. Obviously, if you are part of our Discord, I'll be there to answer your question. Whenever you have a question, you can ask those questions directly to me for free. So that is more or less what you can expect within this class. So let's not waste any more of your time. Let's jump right into it. So about a year ago, I published a video here on YouTube showing you guys how much money I make. On that video, I showed you that I make roughly $10,000, but mostly $5,000 was coming from trading the futures market. Some of you seem to really not get the idea is that the money that I withdraw to my bank account is not necessarily the entire amount of money that I make when trading the futures market. However, I withdraw what I need in my bank account, for example, to pay the bills and all that stuff. You don't have to withdraw the entire profit. So let me actually go back to my trading app and show you some history. This is about 4 months of uploading that video where I showed you my live withdrawal and you saw the money coming through my banking app. Now let me show you how consistent I have been since then with regards to the amount of money I make, roughly $6,000 that I withdraw to this specific account, but I'm going to show you more accounts later on within this class. So I'm going to filter this out by withdrawal, and I can do 1 month, or we can just do all. I'm going to hit apply, and basically here everything you see on screen was in March. You can see here, these are March withdrawals, and we can sort of like do a calculation. The first withdrawal here is 68,300 or 68,600. The next one is 16,000, 2,000, 1,000, 11,000, 12,300, 4,000, 10,000. And lastly, we've got 2,000. In fact, that's not the last one. The last one is 1,500. So when you combine all these amounts together, they give you about 128,000 rand. Now, this money is in rand. So in order for us to get this money in USD, what we have to do is to just, I think we need to divide this by 19, because that's how much a rand costs to $1, and we get about $6,700. Now this was last month, and if you go down here, you can see all the amount of money that I've been withdrawing. And this is not only the account that I use to withdraw money to my sort of like my bank account. I use different accounts, but I just wanted to show you that yes, indeed, I trade the futures market, and this is the amount of money that I'm making whenever I'm trading the futures market. I think it's imperative that we talk about these things and how much money do we make as traders, because there are a lot of people who are out there and just lying to people, trying to sell them a cause. In fact, me, I'm doing the exact opposite of that. I'm giving you all the skills and tools that you need in order for you to succeed in the world of trading for absolutely free. Now, as you saw, I make roughly 128,000, and that is more or less $6,000. Now, this is just one of the accounts that I use to withdraw money into my bank account. Like I said, I only withdraw what I need per month. So I make more than just what you see here. But this is also not the only account that I'm using to withdraw money. For example, I'm going to put side by side a different bank. You can see on this bank here, I'm withdrawing using a bank called Capitec. If you're South African, you may be familiar with that bank. Now, I'm going to put a side by side screenshot, or rather screen recordings, where I also show you a different bank that I use within the same months. You can see here, it says March. So let's go to March on this account, and you can see within this account that I made over roughly, let's say, over 100,000 rands. And if you go on to the next month, it's more or less the same. If we go on to the last month, you can see that we made over 100,000 rands. So if you combined all these two accounts, you can see that we make over 200,000 to 300,000 rands per month. If I come here, you'll be able to see that that puts me in a top 1%, because if you make roughly 300,000 rands per month, you make 3.6 million a year. That is $200,000. Even people in the first world countries, most of them do not make that amount of money, but that's what we're doing here. And you find people on the internet telling you that trading is not profitable, that traders, influencers, or mentors are just selling courses, which is not true. I just proved to you with some of these screen recording or screenshots that we make that amount of money. And like I said, I'm living in a third world country, and imagine I'm able to make that amount of money, and I'm not even in my prime yet. I'm still coming up as a trader. Basically, there are people who make more than I do, but you can see that's already puts me in the top 1% of people in this country. And the top 1% that I'm talking about here are people who make over 2 million rand per year. And with what I just showed you, you can tell that we make over 3.6 million rand a year, which I guess puts me in less than top 1%. But anyway, the idea here was just to show you guys that indeed it is possible to make money on the market if you're consistent. The reason why people say this is not profitable, because people try it out for 6 months and it doesn't work out, and then they move on to the next big thing. The reason why I got to where I am today, not that I'm somewhere significant and I'm making millions and millions of dollars, no, that's not the case. But the reason why I got to where I am today, because I was consistent. I knew for a fact that this is what I wanted to do, and this is the only thing that can move me from where I was to where I wanted to be, and I was going to do this until it works. So if you have that kind of attitude, and if you want to keep pushing, you may get it wrong, you may get it wrong, but eventually you will get it right. When you get it right, you will have these kind of results, or even better. So with that being said, you can see that we've got a lot of things to cover within this course. So let's get started. Before we get started, like I said, my name is Designer. If you're new here, make sure that you do subscribe to this channel. My aim is to help you become a better trader when it comes to trading in the futures market. I've been trading for a very, very long time. Now I just showed you how much money I'm currently making. I'm not making millions and millions of dollars, but I haven't been working for the past 8 to 9 years, and this is what I've been doing for a living. So for example, if I come here, this is now a different website than the one I was showing you earlier on. Here you can also see my withdrawal history. But what I want to show you here is basically how long I've been withdrawing money on the market. So let's zoom out of that and just scroll down here. So let me just go right at the bottom so I can see the very first trade here. You can see this dates back to 2017. So I've been doing this for some time now. Obviously, during that time, I wasn't making as much money as I'm making today, but I've been doing this for some time. And this is not my only account that I'm using when I'm trading the futures market. Like I showed you here, this was a different account that I have here within the app, and this also is a different account. So I'm using about 3 to 4 different accounts when it comes to deposits and withdrawals. So I just wanted to show you that I've been doing this for some time, and this is what I do for a living. Like I said, I'm not a perfect trader. I don't go and trade and make millions and millions of dollars on a single trade, but this is what I do, and it pays my bills. So in this class, I'm going to show you exactly how you can learn everything that I know now when it comes to trading, and fast forward your journey when it comes to being a profitable trader. So with that being said, I think we covered everything here. Let's jump right into trading. The first thing that we want to do is make a deposit. Actually, I'm now recording the intro of this class after I've done with the entire class. So you can see here on top that I did make a deposit. So this $762 here was a deposit that I made to Bitget account. So let's jump into our class here and actually do our first deposit and place our first trade here on Bitget. Again, you can find the link to Bitget in the description of this video. Let's get started. All right, so let's go ahead and find our account. Here you can see that I have already deposited about 15,000 rands. If you come here and you put 15,000 rands, you can see you're getting about 771 US dollars. Now you just have to click buy. You can see I already placed an order prior to me recording this video. So on your top right corner here, you can see I have already my positive balance. Now I can click on withdraw, and here I need to select cryptocurrencies. Then I want to select USDT. So select that and then scroll down. And here I want to select Binance My Chain because that one is very cheap, even though it is actually very expensive at about $4.32. That's very expensive, but this is just one of the few options that we have right now because we don't have an on-ramp. So here you can see this is the account. It currently has no money at all. I'm just going to click deposit. So basically I want to fund my Bitget account. From here you can select fiat currencies if your country does support direct deposit on fiat currencies, but not so many countries are selected here, or rather are able to deposit from here. So what we're going to do instead is to deposit USDT, which is what we just bought on our local exchange. And then I'm going to select my network here. That's going to be Binance Smart Chain. And I want to go ahead and just let's click OK on this. And then I'll copy my wallet address. Then I'll come back here on Allcoin Trader. And then I'll paste my wallet address over here. Then I'm just going to put the entire amount. Once you're happy with that, just make sure and verify everything is correct. Then I'm going to go ahead and just withdraw the funds. Confirm that. You have to confirm with your Google Authenticator and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and just process the entire thing. So this was done successfully. Next up, what we want to do is to start trading. Now, like I said, I want to first start placing a trade, then I can explain later as to the exact strategies that we're actually using here within this class. Here, you're looking at SAY, and if you're looking at Pyth here, you can see that Pyth didn't move as much as SAY did. And if we look at STG, is also moving within our Bollinger Bands. So it is a great indication that we can go long on SAY because it has had a significant amount of drop. If we can just look at that again, you can see that it is currently trading outside of the Bollinger Bands. Again, I'm going to show you how to install this trading indicator here. So if I select that here, I want to show you that you can see here it was trading outside and it pumped a little bit. Also here trading outside and then it pumped a little bit. So right now we had a significant drop on the market. You can see here it is currently trading outside of the Bollinger Bands. So what we want to do in this case, if we can get our measuring device here, want to move from here and probably just get about 60%. So because we're going to be using 10x leverage, that's going to be around 60%. So I do expect the market to drop even further down before it starts, moving up. But I want to be in a position where I'm already in the position, and the risk here is that we already trading the market when we don't have a clear indication because the market just had a significant drop. That can also just move to around about 60%. So that's 6%, which is going to be 60% of our total margin. But I'm going to show you how to calculate all these things later within this class. So now that we know exactly where we want to go long, let's go ahead and just come here and see if our funds did reflect. You can see we did, deposit our funds successfully. So it's just a matter of those funds hitting an account. But what we're going to do for now is to click on trade. You can see we've got spot, futures, and we've got margin. But what we're looking at is futures trading, right? So let's go ahead and just click on that, because that's what we want to do. By default, it's going to be on Bitcoin, but we don't want to trade that. So just click on the drop down menu and select SAY. And this is the currency pair that we want to take our first trade on, because it had a significant drop and I believe we can make some money here. And I'm going to be showing you the exact strategy that we're applying here. If we look at Matic, if I can just come here and click on Matic, Matic had a significant drop as well. So maybe we can trade Matic as well because it just broke at the support. But again, here we can maybe get 30% of our margin should the trade go in our favor. And maybe that's not as much as what we can get on SAY. So maybe let's move on and go and trade SAY. So again, here, what we're looking at is, if I can just get my measuring tool here, we think the market is still going to drop. So I'm not going to go in at the market price. However, I'm going to put a limit price around about this range here. So that's the price range that I'm looking at, even though right now there's a huge risk. As I'm going to be taking this trade, there's a huge risk here. I'm going to show you in a moment that the market can even fall a little bit lower than the current price that we're trading at. So let's just zoom in on that and get the exact price where we want to go long. Let's first fund our account here. So because the funds are now here, we're going to move funds from spot to futures trading. And from here, I can just put in about, let's say $500, or actually, let's go ahead and put $700. So that's the amount of money that we're going to be using throughout this trading challenge or this trading class. And we actually want to double this amount on a first trade and actually move on to make, let's say, $5,000. So I'm going to be showing you step by step here. The next thing what we want to do is to adjust our leverage. And in this case, I want to, trade on isolated margin, right? Instead of cross margin. So this is more or less the price where I want to be at, where you see the dotted line. So I'm trying to wait for the market to come to those specific price range. So I'm going to be using a limit order instead of a market order. So basically just go and put that price right there. So it's 0.7745. And then I can do 50% of my margin, or in this case, to be safe, we can do 500 or rather 25%. And just make sure that everything is correct before you place your trade, because you don't want to be entering into a price range that you're not really interested in. So I'm just going to keep it around 25%, 26%. Then I'm going to go ahead and just confirm that, then go long on the market. Confirm that. Now we have our limit order sitting there. So that's maybe where I can explain to you the difference between limit orders and market orders. So basically this order is not going to be triggered until the market get to that price range. You can see this is where the open order is sitting at. So that is a limit order. So we're just going to be waiting for the market to drop in order for us to go long. And if you wanted to go with a market order, you'll have to click on the market order here. And then basically that means that if you take a trade, it will actually be going to be executed at the current trading price. So here what we're looking at is that the market can actually come down here, and that's going to be forming some sort of a bear flag. So that's the risk of entering a market when the market hasn't really decided as to what it wants to do. So that's the difference between market orders and limit orders. Let's go ahead and see what happens next. Right, so now we can see the market has dropped, but not as much, but you can see it dropped below our entry price, which means our trade did get triggered. However, because the market dropped even lower, we do expect it to push a little bit higher after that. But that means that we are now on the trade. Our trade is active. However, that trade is losing money. As I did say earlier on, that the risk of entering a trade so early is that you entering where the market hasn't really decided as to what is it that it wants to do. But this is also a perfect example. If you come here, you can see that we now have our trade that is executed. This trade is currently losing some money, about 4% on a negative. But again, the risk here is that we can see that we are forming a bear flag. I'm going to be talking about those when it comes to chart analysis and technical analysis. That's going to be coming up on the next segment. So I did go ahead and place another order while I was off camera. So basically that order below here, as you can see it, it's just below or rather above my liquidation price. So I'm treating that as a stop loss. And so instead of me being liquidated, I want to enter into the trade and scale in on that trade. Let me see if I can zoom in there. My screen real estate is not that great right here. But anyway, I hope I can show you guys what I want to show you. So yeah, that's the order that's currently sitting here. And we also got one limit order. The issue here, like I said, this may be forming a bear flag, which means the market can still come down significantly lower than the price that we're currently trading on right now. So as we see here, let's just zoom in here. We can see that we are now sort of like at break even, but we're not looking for really break even. We want to make a significant amount of money and probably double our money on our first trade. So I do believe that the market is still going to come down. So the strategy that I'm going to be using here is that as the market is coming down, I'm just going to be able to scale in that trade so that I can hold a bigger margin. So you can see the market can come down there, but if that doesn't form a bull flag. All right, so now let's look at Pyth. So I just got a notification from one of the members of our group here on Discord saying that we should be looking at Pyth and he's gonna drop a signal. So maybe I can trade that signal live here and I can see what he's looking at. Here I asked them to drop me this video and this is the exact signal that is giving us basically exactly where to go long and what to do should the trade not go in our favor. So I'm just going to be putting that on the screen right here so that you guys can see the type of signal. Basically, it's an instruction to do X, Y, Z on the market. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to come here and type Pyth and you can see it's right there. I'm going to select it and basically it's also trading outside of the Bollinger Bands. In this case, I'm just going to come here and also select isolated margin. And here I can then, move my slider here with regards to the amount of money that I want to spend. But in this case, let's go in with the market order. So I'm spending about 25%, which means that I'm using 25% of my remaining margin on the account. So once you're happy with everything that you have on the chart, you can either do 100%, but that's going to be risky. I'm just going to keep it at 100%. Then I'm going to go ahead and place that trade. You can see this trade was executed immediately compared to the trade that we had earlier on because this is trading at a market order instead of using a limit order. So that is a basic overview of market orders and limit orders. So now that we have that, you can see here that Pyth is actually trading outside of the Bollinger Bands. So there's a high likelihood of the market going up from where it is right now. So I believe that's why Junior within our group is telling us to go long on this specific asset. So let's scroll down here. You can see we've got 2 trades currently on our trading account. So let's see how those trades are actually doing right now. So let me just scroll down here. And the trade that we have here, we've got Pyth, which is minus 0.8%. And we also have Say here on top, which is also currently losing money. So this is also maybe a great example that whenever you're trading, the market is not going to go in your favor immediately. So here we are, maybe let's say 5 to 6 hours later, the market has since pushed up in value. Both trades, as you can see, this is Pyth. So let's go change that to Say. And you can see that it actually started pushing up, but it did drop significantly before it started pushing up. So we're going to look at that, boom. It went down here and now it's actually moving in our direction. So I did say that we are expecting sort of like a bear flag. So basically you can see that the market came down here and then boom, it came to retest these levels here before coming back down. So if you are a short-term trader, you should have scaled this trade, but because we want to treat this trade as a swing trade, we're just going to leave it like this and we're only going to scale once we go negative 50 or negative 60%. So if we come back here, you can see now our trade is in profit. If we click on that, we can see we are now running on 7% profit and this one here is running on 9.6%. I want to close the last trade that we opened, which is the Pyth trade, because I don't want to expose my account to too many trades because I'm trading very, very low leverage. I want to use my leverage that I have, or rather my margin that I have, to maintain my ongoing trade, which is my main trade, which was the first one. You can see now we are at 10%. So basically we're at 10%. I'm going to close this trade here and take profit on the last trade and only keep the first trade open because I am expecting the markets to go down. So I don't want to be exposed to 2 trades because I'm not going to have enough funds to scale those trades in. I'm going to be explaining the scaling technique later on within this class. So let's come back here and let's change this to Pyth. And you can see Pyth is actually doing well. If we come here and maybe let's get our writing tool, and then we expect the market to drop down before pushing back up. But like I said, I want to be able to close this trade immediately. I don't care about the price going up. I care about assessing the risk. You can see this is about 10%, which means I could be doubling my margin if I let this trade run for some time. But also we've got Bitcoin halving coming up. So I don't want to be exposing myself to a bigger risk because I'm expecting the market to be very volatile. I'm recording this course at a very critical time on the market. If we zoom out here, you can see here we've got a perfect pattern here. I did post this on the group. In fact, let's jump into the group and show you guys this exact analysis that we did a couple of weeks ago and how it actually played out. You can actually see it before and after. Let's jump right into that. Right, so here we are exactly on this chart here that I was just showing you guys. Again, guys, we'll still have a separate dedicated chapter when it comes to chart analysis and chart patterns. But basically what I want to show you here is this W pattern that we saw here. And you can actually come here on our Discord and you'll be able to see that not only did we spot these potential at that time W pattern that were forming, or not only did we just spot one potential at that time W pattern, but we spotted actually three. Here you can see on Jupiter we actually spotted it that the market will potentially play out this way, and then this one here was on Pith. This is the exact one that is in question. And actually if we come here, you can actually see that this one's played out exactly how we anticipated everything to be. And if we come back here, let's exit out of that, and this one here is on STG. This one as well, if we quickly come to the chart here, well, maybe let's open a new chart on a different window. So I'm going to come to that. So let's just zoom and go to that exact moment there on the chart. So let's quickly go to that. Here you can see again, if you come to our Discord here, this is what was forming at the time. And immediately, you know, when we saw this coming down here, we thought, look, this is going to be a W pattern. So for that reason, that's why we actually came here and we let everybody know within our group on our Discord to look out for this potential reversal pattern. And eventually after that, if we zoom out of this, you can actually see that the market pumped significantly. Obviously now I'm looking at it at a later stage. So if we entered here as suggested on our Discord, and the highs here were at 24%. So with 10x leverage, that is 200%. Now let's come back here on Pith. You can also see that here, we actually spotted this here. If you can look here on our Discord, we actually spotted this right here, right? So we're still more or less here on a neckline. And we saw that this was a potential W pattern. And this is exactly where the market was trading at a time. And immediately when the market hit these levels, we then knew that because here we have a support and then on top here we have a resistance, this indeed is a valid W pattern. Obviously, I'm going to be diving in depth with regards to how to go about trading these patterns in a chapter that is coming up within this class. So make sure that you keep watching so that you can obviously learn how to potentially spot these patterns. Here you can see that we actually spotted them very, very early before they actually completed. So which means that we can actually start trading very early. Obviously that comes with its own risk, but obviously the more time you spend on the market, the more you actually learn how the market actually behave. So yeah, I just wanted to quickly touch on this one because I actually spotted it out here on the chart. So let's get back to it. So here we can see that both our trades are still doing very well. We've got 17% right now. And like I said, I'm actually getting greedy because I was supposed to close that. You can see this one is actually moving sideways. So let's close the 17% and only leave one trade open. All right. So here we are a few hours later. You can see the market did drop significantly as we had actually anticipated. So it's a good thing that we actually closed the first trade. So let's jump right here. You can see this is the first time where we entered our trade. It went up and then came back down here. And then we scaled in our trade here with the trade that we had as a limit order. And then it pushed up a little bit over here. So you can see this was our first entry. Now, because of scaling, that entry dropped a little bit lower. So that's the beauty of scaling. It is a good trading strategy. It's also very risky in the sense that it can drop even lower, which means if it drops lower, we have to scale in again. That's why we had to close one trade. And I don't actually have a good screen real estate here. Let me go ahead and try to expand this so that I can show you guys exactly what's happening here. Let's click on this tool. Yeah, that looks even better. So let me zoom out. So maybe let's get rid of this. And this one as well. and this one as well. So yeah, we've got a good real estate now that we can work with. So you can see this is where we scaled in, and this is where we had our first entry. And then let's get rid of this line as well. So what we have here is on top, we were going long, then the market moved in our favor, we had to scale in, then obviously that drops our average entry price. So let's get a tool here. What's going to happen next is either the market can, move sideways, which is very unlikely. What I foresee happening right now is the market dropping a little bit lower from where we are. All right, so here we can see that is our liquidation price. So basically what needs to happen is that I need to now place another limit order. So that should be just above the liquidation price. In this case, I have to go 100% of my margin because I've already scaled in my trade twice. So that's why it's important that you have enough margin. And that's why it was important for us to close that trade while it was still on profit. So now we have our limit order. Should the price come down here, which is very likely. Remember, right now we have all the data, where else previously when we started the trade, we didn't have the kind of data that we have right now. That's why it's also very important for you guys to be patient. Let's expand it so that you guys can see exactly what's happening here. You can see the data that is presented from the market right now is very bearish. So let's maybe get this line here. So this is where we entered first time. That was our average entry price. We scaled in here, right? That became our average entry price because it had to drop. So now we're expecting the markets to actually come down here, and that's where we're going to scale in one last time, hopefully. Then our average entry price is going to come to these key levels. So the data that we currently have right now is this, that we're having the current, there's a sort of like trend line that we have to break. And I don't see us breaking this trend line anytime soon before we actually hit our bottom there. So let's get that tool here to draw from here and just drop it down right about here. So you can see that the market is failing to drop or to go above this trend line. So for that reason, I think the market is going to drop. Even if we go to the 4-hour time frame, we actually get a clear picture when we're looking at the 4-hour time frame, even though it is not as nice as looking at the 1-hour time frame. So I do foresee that the market will come down and retest our limit order, and then from there we should be able to break and move on the opposite direction. That's why sometimes it's very important for you guys to be very patient on the market. I always see people asking for signals, not understanding that we have to wait until we get sort of like a clear-cut opportunity on the market. Because if you don't get clear-cut opportunities, you end up have to scale your trade like this. This is a very good strategy, but it's also very risky. So let's just expand it and actually look at what we have here. So this is where we currently are. We are still almost like at break even. If we zoom out of that, and I made a mistake there, we're still at the break even here, right? So look at that. This is our break even. If we do touch that, we're now making money. We can still close the trade if we feel like the market won't go up here. But again, because we're already on the trade, I'm just gonna leave it as it is and leave my limit entry price to scale in should the trade keep going down. But right now the charts don't lie, guys. The charts are telling me that this market is going to go down. So for that reason, I always have to prepare myself as to what may happen next. So that's why we have a limit order right here that will act as a sort of like, stop loss in terms of avoiding us being liquidated in order for us to keep this money. So here we are about a few hours later, and the market did drop. We can see right now we are in profit. Let's start by sharing this within our Discord group, because obviously everyone needs to know that we are now making money. So let's zoom out, or rather come down here and look what happened. So we can also just maybe adjust our take profit, because now we are making money. We don't want to be losing the amount of money that we have. So I'm just going to put in a take profit for now just in case the market, goes a little bit higher. I still want to use this to record this. You can see here, I'm going to be making around about $1,200, just about 200% of our margin. So obviously we don't want that to happen right now, because I want to record as much information as possible with this trade here, because the market conditions are very, very difficult right now to place a new trade. So I will have a part 2 of this course, guys, where we'll be looking at taking this account to even greater height. Here we can see 25% that we've made so far. Again, like I said, you can always adjust your take profit and stop loss right there. Again, don't be greedy, take as much money as you can. Any amount of money that you can take on the markets is good money. You don't have to make millions immediately. So let me just adjust that so that I don't become too greedy and just keep my take profit a little bit lower than what I currently have here. So let me just adjust that and then confirm that. You can see after confirming, it should drop where it is right now. Yeah, so that's more realistic for me. And let's click here. We can see this is our trade, and we're going to talk about this red line here because we did lose some money, about $70. You can also push this up here because again, like I said, I want to use this for recording some content as well. So let's go ahead and click on that. Look at what we have right now. We have about 41%, which is crazy. Again, guys, I'm always downloading these and sharing them with you on our Discord group. So let's just go to that. You can see previously we had 26%, and all the trades that we actually take, we do post them within our Discord group. So it's very important that you become part of our Discord group. It's absolutely free. I'm going to click on daily signals, and you can see this is the signal that we were following earlier on. And it's very important that we understand how to read these signals because we had to scale in these trades as well. So nothing is always straightforward here when it comes to trading. And let's go ahead and just share that. I forgot to share that within our group. So let's include leverage, P&L, and also the price. Then I'll go ahead and download this. Right, then I can come here on signals, or rather on P&L, and just paste it here. Boom, look at that, 41%. We're making around about $325 right now, and that is good money for the first trade, or rather this is our second trade. We did lose money. Look at that, people are already liking this, so let me also give it a like. And you can see people are just liking the fact that we are now making money on the signal that we dropped here within our group previously. So that's why it's important, guys, that you become part of our Discord group. You cannot trade individually and succeed. You need a group of people, a group of smart and intelligent people who understand what they are doing on the markets. I've been trading for 8 years. I'm still not a perfect trader, but I decided to share this class with you guys and share with you the ins and outs of trading and everything that you need to know when it comes to trading. So this class is very, very, very practical, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. Also leave some comments in the comment section below. Let me just move on to my trading view. Here you can see that the market is actually pumping right now, which is good. Maybe that can push me to, take profit, or rather move my take profit a little bit upper. The issue is that we've got Bitcoin halving at the time of me recording this video. So I don't want to be too greedy because I know the market is going to be extremely volatile on that day. So I need to be very, very cautious as a trader. You need to be aware of what's happening within the market. So let's just move this a little bit upper right now. We're using the VPVR here to just keep it at that point here, so that if the market shoots up, we're not closing the trade immediately, because I want to record as much information as possible with regards to how to manage trades and all that stuff, and also just taking profit on the trade, because it's extremely imperative as traders that we're not only holding trades, but we have the ability to take profit and make money on the market. So I'm just going to keep it here for now, and I'm going to exit out of that. Then if I scroll down here, I can also just use, I already showed you guys, you can also use this to take profit. My intentions here is to at least turn this account to a $5,000 account. Again, if you can move from $700 to 5,000, it's going to be extremely easy for you to then move from $5,000 to $20,000. So let's keep it 0.777. And then I'm just going to have to go ahead and just confirm that. And that's going to be around about almost 100% of the margin that we used here. So you'll see me adjusting this very often. You don't have to do this. Once you have your take profits, you need to execute at that price. Don't get greedy. I'm just keeping it this way because I'm recording this content here. So let's zoom out of that. Now, if we click here, we can see we are at 52%, which is good. We're making now almost good money, just about 400%, or rather $400 here. And as always, we share this information with you within our group. So I'm going to go ahead and download that so that I can share it here on Discord. On Discord, guys, you can see the amount of money that we're making is crazy. And let me just go ahead and just post this. The amount of money that we're making here is crazy, guys. You can just go ahead and look at our P&L and also look at our signal histories and stuff like that. We're not always winning the trades. It's very important to understand, guys, and always apply money and risk management. I'm going to be teaching you more on those later within this class. So let's come here back on Bitget. In fact, let's start here because Bitcoin right now is currently pushing very, very high. And you can see we are around about $71,000. So for that reason, the rest of the market tend to follow what Bitcoin is doing. So that's why I'm currently not closing in my trade, because I want to milk as much money as possible on the market. So you'll see me adjusting this very often. And like I said, you don't have to do this. You can put a trailing stop loss, which means the markets will move with you. And you can also adjust this using a stop loss as well. So again, guys, once you've set your target price, make sure that you stick with it, or you're putting your trailing stop loss. Don't do what I'm doing here, because in that case, you may end up losing money on a trade that was a winning trade. So here you can see now we have about $1,300, and which is very, very good money. We're almost doubling our account. Let's actually zoom to 7 days. This is a couple of days later. Let's move to, so that we can show you. You recall that this account had $0. We then, put about $700 here. Then immediately after that, we had a significant drop on the market, and we actually lost about $70. You can see it right here. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. So we did lose a trade, and you can see that's the red line over there. So Bitget tend to close a portion of your trade, before liquidation. So that was the reason. Here you can see about 60%. So earlier I was calling for 60%. Now you can see that we are at around about $1,300, which is good money. So on the next trade, it's going to be very easy for me to then move from $1,300 to, let's say, $3,000. And that's going to be really, really interesting. I want you guys to see this account moving from $700, as you can see here, and moving right up to, let's say, $500 to, or rather $5,000. So you can see we're still very, very far from achieving that. We're still at $1,300. But again, for the first 2 trades, we did make money, which is good, even though we lost that $72, $73. So let's go ahead and move on to the next trade. All right, so the 2 trades that I just showed you now, basically that's how most traders trade. Like, in fact, most traders don't even come close on winning those trades that we won. Obviously, we could have been stopped out. It's very risky. The trading method that we're actually using is very risky. Now, the reason why it's so risky, because the market is bearish and we're trying to trade against the trend. Psychologically, that's how traders trade. If you're looking at the stats of how many people are going long versus the people that are going short, the numbers of the people that are going long are always far higher than the people that are actually shorting the market, irrespective of the market conditions. So that's why it's very difficult to trade that way. But what I want to show you next is basically how do you trade by following the trend. And the trading strategies that I'm going to be showing you next will really make you an enemy of the markets, because you'll begin to make a lot of money by following exactly what we're going to be talking about. And again, all the information that you need is going to be in our Discord. Let's get started with these strategies. Firstly, I'm going to show you the theory part of it, then we can jump into live trading. Let's go. All right, so this chapter is going to be one of the most important chapters that you've ever watched on the internet, because this chapter is what's going to set you apart from the rest of the traders. It's basically the chapter that will move you from being a guessing trader, which is like the 89% of everybody else that is trading, to being a trader that is so precise. Basically, this chapter is going to make you a wizard when it comes to trading. And I can back this up by showing you the data, because this is the exact trading method and strategies that we're using in our own trading account and also within our trading Discord. We make trading signals based on everything that I'm going to be teaching you in this video. I want to show you an account here, and here you can see I'm under 30 days. You can see if I move on 7 days, I haven't made much in 7 days. I've got about 1,500, but in 30 days I've got $11,000, right? Almost $11,500 in PNL, which is crazy. So this is the exact account that I'm going to be showing you in this video with regards to the trading strategies that we're actually using. So let's actually jump right into our Discord. If you're looking for this document here that I'm going to be sharing with you in this chapter, you can find it in our Discord by just going under beginner's guide. So right on top here, you can click on beginner's guide and you'll be able to find all the information that I present to you in this class. And again, this is just class number 1. We still have about 10 classes, which is more or less about 20 hours worth of learning material. So after watching the entire 20 hours, you should become a really good trader. Let's not waste any more of your time. Let's jump into the chapter, and I want to share with you when exactly you should be going short or going long on the market. And again, like I said, this information you'll be able to find it on our Discord. So what we have here is an uptrend. You can see this trend line here, and basically if you can master this, you will win most of your trades, over 80%. So you can see that the market is actually moving on an uptrend like that, and here creating higher highs, and here on top you can see something called head and shoulders. In the chapter that is coming up next, we'll go in depth with regards to chart patterns, so you'll be able to see and understand what are head and shoulders. So here you can see we're forming sort of like a head and shoulder there. What I want to talk about here is this market is going on the upside. You can see the market is trending right here. But this is where most people will then start entering into long position, because they feel the FOMO that something is happening on the market and they are being left out. If you are part of our Signal community, you'll realize that this is exactly the opposite of what we're doing. So what we're looking for is that the markets give us a break this trend line here. Remember, we've got this trend line here. So what we're looking for is a break. And right here, we can see a break of a trend line. And then that is confirmed by the second candle. Let's reduce this again. So once we've got a confirmation here, this is exactly where we go short on the market. And in most cases, this is where most traders go long on the market. So I've prepared a couple of examples here. And again, I'm going to leave this exercise or this information on our Discord so that you can download it, print it, and do whatever you want to do with it. So let's jump into the next page here. You can see on the next page, we've got more or less the same thing, that the market is creating a low over here, then creating a high before creating higher low here, higher high, higher low, higher high. And eventually what we're looking for is this confirmation that the market is breaking this trend line. So remember, the most important thing here is this trend line, right? So this trend line is exactly what we're looking for, right? So once the price break the previous high and create a lower low here, this gives us a perfect opportunity for us to enter short here, or once the market retest the trend line here, that's when we go short. So I know this is more like a theory part of it, but let's jump into the market and I want to show you this live in action. So maybe before we jump into that, let's jump into the next example here. You can see again, here we've got a reversal trade confirmation. Again, similar story. Here we've got a trend line. You can see this is the trend line that we're talking about. And the market comes and retest or touch these key points here, which is the trend line, eventually, look at this, in a history of this side movement, the market come and sits on this trend line, and this trend line acts as a support. So in some cases, we can draw another trend line here on top, and we can say this is a resistance line on top. So for example, if you wanted to do some scalping, you can go long here and then sell your long position here, go short, again, go long and treat it this way. I'm going to show you a live trade in just a moment. So what we have here is the market eventually breaks this trend line support. And then obviously once that is broken, that is a key signal that we're looking for. And that's exactly where we're going to go short. You can see here, price breaks the trend line, confirmation to enter short. So this is exactly where you enter short on the market, and you ride the wave as it comes down here. Now, in the next class, we will go in depth with regards to when exactly you should be exiting the trade. That is one example right there. And I believe this is going to be the last example that I want to show to you with regards to breaking the market structure. So again, you can see here, let's just get this to right. You can see here, the market sits on this line here, and eventually we've got a wick here that comes directly and sits on the line. Again, it's sitting on this trend line, but it fails to break it. And again, you can also treat it as a channel. You can see here, this is going to be our resistance here on top. But basically what we're looking for, because this market is bullish, what we're looking for is a swing short position. In this case, you can see eventually the market comes here. But for example, it fails to bounce back up here and continue with what the market was doing. But in this case, we can see that the market, let's just get rid of this. You can see that the market breaks here, comes and retests. It fails to break up again. So this is a perfect confirmation that now the market is going to go down. So this is what we're looking for in the market. When the market is bullish, this is what we're looking for. Whenever the market is bullish, this is the signal that we're looking for in order for us to go short on the market. And obviously, we can do the exact opposite if we just invest this whole chart here. So let's actually look at the market and look at how we go about trading this. Now that we know the theory part of it, let's go and look at the practical trade, which is live here on the market. So let's jump into that. All right, so now you can see that we've got a trade here, and this trade is giving us just about $1,000. And if you click on P&L, by the way, I just closed this trade over $1,100, but the website hasn't refreshed yet. So that's why I want to show you this. Then we'll refresh it. You can see how much money we made on this trade using the very same strategy. Now let's go ahead and refresh our website here so that we can see that this trade did eventually close in profit. You can see now we have a B sign right here, which shows that we did close, and you can see the amount of money that we've made, which is $1,100. So our aim is to get to $30,000 on this account. Again, we took this account to about 5,000, and now we're almost approaching $30,000. So let's actually show you the strategy. Again, guys, this is a practical example where I'm showing you live trades. Let's go ahead and expand this. And again, you just showed the theory part of it, and now I'm showing you the trade where I'm actually trading and making money. So let's just zoom in here and get our tools so that you guys can see everything that I want to show you in this trading setup. Again, this works best for day trading. So you can see this is where we went short on the market. And if you come down here, you can see that the market was giving us sort of like a support with regards to this trend line. So as soon as that support was broken, that's when we knew we should go short on this market. So let's just zoom out here. So you can see exactly that when the market was broken, we went short on the market. So it's very simple to follow basically what we're doing here. Let's actually show you more trading setups that you can take using the very same strategy. If you zoom out here, you can see that if we get our tools here, again, there's a similar trading setup where a trend line is broken, and eventually this is where you would have went short on the market. So this setup is very, very good for day trading and also for scalping. Oops, let me exit out of that. Let's expand this again. Let's basically look for another trading setup that you could have taken using the very same strategy. Let's zoom out here because I think I see something very similar. Again, let's get our tool here. You can see 1, 2, 3. Let's go ahead and join these dots here. And you can see once this was broken, you could have went short here on the market, and obviously that would have been a profitable trade. Again, I'm just quickly scanning through the chart here so that I can show you guys how you can apply this trading strategy. And in just a moment, I'm going to show you more practical example and basically what I was looking at. Here you can see this trend line is broken, and this one is on a bullish setup. Let's go ahead and look for one more. Oops, that's a wrong tool. Let me expand. So let's pick the right tool, and you can see here we're breaking a market structure that is on a downtrend, and eventually that is a good setup as well. You can see this one here as well. If you join these 3 dots here, that would have been a perfect trading setup, almost similar to the one that we took, and this is exactly where you would have went short on the market. So let me give you what was on my mind before I took that trade. So that's going to give you a clear indication as to how you go about applying this trading strategy whenever you're seeing opportunities on it. So now I'm on trading view. Here you can see that I'm on 1 hour time frame. Basically what I want to show you here is what was I looking at before taking the trade. Obviously now we're looking at just the technical aspect of it, which is basically just the chart. Whenever you're trading, you want to be keeping few things in mind, and that is going to be the chart, because charts never lie. Obviously the current market trend and also the market sentiment, but we'll dive into more details when it comes to that in a class that is coming up next, which is going to be class number 2. So make sure that you are subscribed to this channel, because basically this is going to be the only way you can become a really profitable trader, by watching all these videos and practicing what we're preaching in these videos. And obviously don't just trade on your own, make sure that you join our community as well, which is absolutely free. You can go to vocdesigner.com to be part of our community. I'll leave the link to that in the description of this video. What I want to show you here is what I was looking at before taking this trade. We obviously know that this trade was a profitable trade. You saw me making over $1,100 on a single trade. I can actually come here on TradingView and use this thing that is called a replay and actually show you what I was looking at before taking the trade. So before I do that, I want to show you this trend line, because this is the trend line that we were just talking about with regards to the markets breaking the structure. So we're looking for the markets to break this trend line. Once we get a confirmation of the markets breaking this trend line, we will then go short on the market. And obviously you can do the opposite if the market is bullish. So in this case, the market is bearish. You can see here we've got a point where we can connect the trend line, and this is another point, but this is not really valid. We want to connect it to this one, so I'm going to connect it to that, and obviously connect it to the last one. Obviously here we can see that it's broken, but I want to use the replay, right? So I'm going to click replay, and let's play it from here before everything happened, right? So I'm going to move like that and press play. I want you to have a look at how often the market goes and rests on this trend line, because this is the trend line that we're looking at. And obviously there will be different setups when you trade. You're never going to get it perfect just like this one, but you can see the market comes and sits on this trend line. Very often we can see what is forming on the market, which is this trend line acting as a support. So it's holding as support, right? So I want to stop it as it breaks. So far it's been holding 1, 2. Eventually it breaks, right? And look at that. Once it breaks with high momentum. So let's pause right there. So we just pause the replay so that we can actually have a look at this in more detail. So I'm going to bring in my tool here. You can see this is what we're looking at. The market come and rest on this line here, and obviously here it rested as well with just one candle. But the second candle here was a bearish candle, which was a confirmation. So you recall that when I started shorting, I didn't actually short right here on top. I shorted once I knew that this market was broken. So I took advantage of this downside movement. So that's what I wanted to show you here. The thoughts behind the trade before it happened, and obviously now we can look at it in terms of this trade. We already closed it in profit, and now we know this trade was a successful trade. So yeah, that's what we were looking at here with regards to the market actually breaking the structure. And obviously once the market started trading this direction, we already knew that we had to wait for the market to give us new data. As you'll see that we'll be placing more trades as the market is moving this direction, because that data is going to be very, very critical for the segment that is coming up next. All right, so now let's jump into the next segment, which is about a bearish trading channel. Now you can get a bullish trading channel, which is just going to be the same example but going up. Right, so what we want to talk about here is basically something very similar to what I was showing you earlier on, except on this one here, what we're looking at is we've got a trend line, both an upper trend line and a lower trend line. Whereas on this one, what we're looking at is this trend line, and when it breaks, that's when we wanted to go short. In this case, we can either go long or go short on the market. Let me show you how. So here we've got a market that is coming from a bullish market, but it's actually falling. You can see it's dropping before it's creating a low here and creating a lower high, and eventually it just goes this way, zigzag, basically sideways, right? And then create a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and eventually breaks down here. This is probably the easiest trading setups that you can actually have on the market. But it's very important to spot this very early so that you know exactly when to take trade and when not to take trade, right? So what we're looking for here, once we have this setup here, which is got this trend line here. So I've got this trend line here, and we've got this trend line basically acts as a resistance, right? So that's a resistance, and this one here acts as a support. So what will happen here, because we know the market is creating a lower low, it will eventually bounce up to create a lower high, but fails to break on that trend line. So we're expecting the market to reverse, and again, something similar before going that way, something similar before going that way, something very similar. But be very, very careful when you're trading this, because you don't want to get carried away, because you can quickly open and close trades, and as I'm going to be showing you on the computer just now. So what I suggest here is, once you spot this, you try to get 2 or 3 trades here. You can see you can buy here, sell here, and after selling you can immediately short again and exit here, and again buy, maybe exit here, and that's it, because the market will eventually break. You can see this market is breaking on a downside. However, you're not sure if the market is going to break like this and go up from here. Let's also just get rid of everything here. So let me just sort of like clean everything up here so that you guys don't get confused. So let's come back here. You can see you can easily buy here, sell here, buy here, sell here. So that's what I suggest, because eventually this market will break. So as it comes down here, or rather as it comes up here, it can eventually start breaking up here. So you don't know if that's going to happen sooner or later, or the market is going to continue dropping down here, which means you can sell here, so, right? So you can sell here and also buy here. So what I suggest is you take only 2 to 3 trades here, not more than 3 trades, because this trend line here that you have as support and resistance, it will eventually be broken. So once it's broken, the markets can either go on a lower direction, like here. You can see the market went on a lower direction, or the markets can go up. So you're not exactly sure what's going to happen on the market. So that's why you want to be careful and trade 2 to 3 trade, and then after that you stay out of the market. So let me show you this trade live and show you exactly how much money we're making using this exact strategy. And again, everything that we talk about in this video, guys, we do drop also the signals here. If you check out here on our Discord, all these signals, you can see the amount of money that is being made on a daily basis. Look at this. George made $1,000, for example, here, and you can see this is the amount of money that is being made on a single day, right? Or rather on a single trade. And if we go up here, you'll be able to see another 100%. So it's very important that you guys join our Discord, be part of our Discord. So to be part of our Discord group, it's very simple. In the description of this video, you just go to our website, which is vosedesigner.com. Make sure that you sign up with one of our affiliate links. Once you know that you've signed up with our affiliate link, you can just send us your UID. Make sure that you've signed up with our link. If you didn't sign up with our link, it's not going to work. So don't waste your time and don't waste our time. So that's basically how you can make money here on the market. By following our signals, you can see this one here, $4,000 on a single trade. So that is crazy. And you can see we're dropping all the daily signals here. So if you click on daily signals, you can see basically the instructions of how to take the trades and all that stuff, and basically the amount of trades and the amount of profits that we're actually making when we're entering these trades. So make sure that you join our Discord. It's absolutely free. We're not asking no money. The only thing that we're asking for is that make sure that you signed up using the links that we have in the description of this video or the links on our website, which is vosedesigner.com. All right, here I've got a trade. You can see over 10%, about $600 in profit. And here, if I expand this, you'll be able to see this is the second trade that we're taking on this currency pair. Remember the first one that we took? This is the first trade that we took, and this was a profitable trade that gave us $1,000. We went short there, and obviously we exited our short right here. So now I actually went on to place a new trade on this very same currency pair. The reason why I'm doing that is simply because, let me just adjust this. Now you can see there's a channel that is forming, which is exactly what I was just talking about in a moment. And within this channel, if I can get my tool here, it keeps touching here on the upper trend line, and eventually this will drop to the lower trend line and then obviously pick up to the upper trend line again. So you can trade it like that, just as I was showing you. So that's why I took this trade, and you can see I scaled this trade up, and this trade is up now about almost $600 and over about $5,000 in margin. Again, the reason why we're trading like this, we want to push this account to $30,000 very, very fast. So that's why I scaled my trade. So that's why you can see here, if I expand this again, that's why you can see here we did a 2 short position, which means we had our first short position, then we scaled our second short position. So what we can do now is we can analyze the markets. I'm just going to adjust this because obviously it's always good to take profits. It doesn't matter how much money you're taking. So if I adjust it here, I can maybe take profit of $1,000. So that's what I want to do here. As the market is coming down to hit my take profit, you can see here, this will be giving me roughly $800. I still believe that the market can come down more, so I can adjust it to about $8,000. Again, if you click here and scroll down, you can see the first trade that we took. This is the P&L. We made over $1,000 on that trade. Again, on that trade, we were risking about 3,000. I'm not exactly sure, but you can always rewind and go back and see how much margin we were using on that specific trade. So what we have here is another trade, and basically what I want to do is now adjust this to $1,000 so I can exit this trade. Again, I'm using this as a day trading or scalping. For example, you can see this is going to be giving me just over $800. I want $1,000 for sure. And because we know there's a channel that's going to be going up and down, what we want to do is to take advantage of these small trades and make $1,000 on each and every trade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to you once this trade has hit my take profit. All right, so this trade just hit our take profit, and you can see we've made over $8,000, like I just told you in, let's say, 2 hours ago. And we did eventually close it. It doesn't show right now because we haven't refreshed it yet, but maybe this is a perfect example for us to show you where our TP was. So let's refresh this page, and you'll be able to see that we did close this trade and we made more profit, obviously, on this account. So the trade was exited right there. Let's zoom in and bring it up here. So I did tell you guys previously that we're expecting the markets to come and touch our lower trend line, which is right here. That's why we ended up exiting this trade, because we know the market is going to pump up a little bit. And then obviously, let me just get my writing tools. You'll recall that this is the trade that we took short. I did scale this trade to $5,000 and I exited it right here. Let me get rid of that. The reason why we're doing that is simply because we know that the market is going to push up a little bit before coming down. So it's going to push up to the upper trend line. So this is the advantage of trading the channel. It's going to go up and then come down right here. So we want to take advantage of this small movement. And obviously, like I said previously, you want to make sure that you take 2 to 3 trades, not more than 4 in this setup. So let's zoom out. You can see here, the trade was closed, and you can see now we have more funds in terms of the take profit here. You recall that we took 2 trades already and all of them were profitable trades. Again, if you're following our strategies, you can take up to 10 to 20 trades without having a loss. So it's very important to be part of our Discord. You can see the amount of money that we're making, over $2,000 on these 2 trades here. So again, you can join our Discord, which is absolutely free. Find the link in the description of this video. What I want to show you now is us taking the next trade, our dead trade, before we close this class. Again, we've got 5 more classes. So what we're looking at is that the market obviously is coming down here and we're expecting the market to pump up. And you'll be able to see in just a moment, you can see that the market is pumped up a little bit since we closed our trade. That's why we closed the trade, because we knew that there is a resistance. The lower trend line acts as a rather support, and the upper trend line acts as a resistance. So it's a resistance, support, and resistance. The lower trend line is a support and the upper trend line is a resistance. So that's what we're looking at, and that's why we took that trade, or rather we closed the trade. So now let's move on and show you the last trade that we're going to be taking here. Again, this is going to be on a channel as well. So this trade here, we just took another trade on a different trading pair. And this one here, we can see that we're moving our account closer to that 30,000. This one here is up $600 by 22%. Let's zoom in here. You can see we just shorted our trade over here where you can see the red sign. This is where we went short. Now let's have a look at why did we actually go short. This is another channel, and this channel is giving us a clear picture of a potential bear flag. That's why we want to treat this trade as a swing trade. You can see here on top, the market come and touch the upper trend line or the resistance here on top, and then obviously we're expecting it to drop. That's why we have our take profit there, even though I'm going to move it because I want to scale this trade as quickly as possible, because we know that it's going to come up here before coming down here. So what we want to do next is to scale our trade. You can see right now we're still at 21%. So what we're going to be doing is scaling this trade and making sure that we make as much money as possible. You can see the margin is at $3,000. So we want to scale this to at least $5,000 to $6,000 of margin. All right, so you can see now we are at 100% profit. So I didn't close this trade. I let it run to 100%. I'm still not going to close it. Let me just expand this. I'm still not going to close this trade. So what I want to do now, like I said previously, I want to scale this trade and basically take a trade upon a trade. You can see we're expecting it to come down here. It did eventually come to the lower trend line. All right, so now we want to talk about this trade, and this is probably more than a month later. I'm taking my time recording this course so that I can get you the information that you need, and please do subscribe if you appreciate that. I want to talk about this trade. I believe this is the trade that we were taking at a time. So I just want to zoom in exactly here. You remember that this was a live trade, and very often I said to you that I didn't want to close the trade. All right, so this is exactly where we were. So let's zoom into that and actually go over this trade and see exactly what happened. You guys will recall that when we were live on this trade, we were actually trading around this range here. This is exactly where we were. And I said to you guys that I will not close this trade, even though right here it was over 100% in profit. So what I did is that I waited for it to come and touch the upper trend line. And what I did in this case was to scale the trade, which means I put more margin into the trade. Basically, I'm just opening another trade on top of this trade. So what that allows me to do is to have a bigger margin, or to have big funds that I'm risking on that trade. The reason why I was doing that, you may recall that previously within this chapter or with this segment, I said to you guys that there is a potential bear flag on this currency pair. And that's the reason why even when the trade was at 100%, I didn't close it, because what we tend to do as traders is that when we make a little bit of money, we close the trade and we take profit. However, if the trade is a losing trade, we tend to hold it for a longer period of time and hoping that eventually the market will turn around and that trade will be a profitable trade. So if you want to really succeed in trading, what you want to do is to also treat your trades that are winning trades like your trades that are losing trades. What do I mean by this? The same patience that you have with a losing trade, the more you wait, and some people hoping that the market will recover and that trade will turn from being a losing trade to a winning trade. That's how you should also treat a trade that is a profitable trade, because you want to milk and make as much money as possible on the market. It's for that reason that I said to you guys previously that I wasn't going to be closing this trade. Obviously now I have closed this trade, and I want to show you that what I meant at that time. You can see here what we did is we scaled it in here, so which meant that our average enterprise was around here. So this here became our average enterprise. So if we drop this here, and the margin that we had now was $4,000. So the idea is that I could make $8,000 on this trade, but obviously I'm also human. I got a little bit scared when I saw the market starting to push up a little bit. So I closed the trade, and I think I made just over 3,500, something like that. I'm going to show it to you just now. But what I want to talk about is this line that I drew when the trade was still live, and also this one here, because I was saying to you guys that the market can come down to this key level here, right here at the bottom. And let's zoom out. Look at that. The market did eventually drop. So if we look at this as the average enterprise and we drop it right to this point here, that is over by 60%. Remember, at this stage we have margins of $4,000. So with 5x leverage, this will be $12,000. Now that's not bad money, and that was the intention when I said I don't want to close this trade, because I knew for a fact that this market will go down. Now there are different factors that plays into me knowing or having sort of like guaranteed that the market will come down, and we're going to talk about that on the next class. What I want to show you here is that when you're trading, sometimes if the sentiment is right, if you believe that you're in the right position, you want to make sure that you keep those trades for a longer period of time. You can scale the trade, or you can move your stop loss and profits, which is going to guarantee you that a winning trade doesn't become a losing trade. So that's one thing I wanted to show you guys, that as you saw, this trade was over 100%. Most traders will just close this trade and forget about it. What we want to do is make as much money on the market, and we want to be so precise so that we know when the market's going to drop significantly, we know that we keep our position running. So that's one thing that I wanted to talk about in this segment. And you can see this is the channel that we were talking about, because we're still within that chapter of trading a bearish channel. Let me just go ahead and delete this. And you can see here, this is exactly what I was talking about, that the market will come. Obviously, this is not accurate, but you can see the market came to touch these key levels here on top. So you can see this is where I scaled it in. I eventually exited the trade here. If I exit out of this, you'll be able to see I actually have a trade ongoing right now. This is going to be coming up on class 2. This trade is over $3,000. But I want to show you this one here. No, not that one. So let's come back here, and I want to go to P&L. And like I said, this has been over 30 days when I closed this trade, and you can see this is the amount of money I made. Here, this was 1,500. Obviously, this is one trade, but obviously it gets executed differently depending on limit orders, or rather on order book. So in total, this is over 3,000, just almost about 3,500. I could have made more money, as I just showed you on this trade, had I just followed my analysis, because I knew that the market was going down. That's why I kept saying there's a potential bear flag. So had I just kept it there, I would have made over $10,000 on this trade. But it's okay, because sometimes you make more, sometimes you make less. You need to accept that also as a trader. And like I said, don't be afraid of taking profit. I'm going to be showing you in class 2, we're going to be taking more profits and also placing more trades. I'm going to be showing you different strategies. So thank you so much for watching this class, And if you feel that you got so much value on this class, make sure that you like the video, subscribe, and also share this video with 1 or 2 people that are starting to trade, because we don't want those people to be struggling. We want them to get this information so that they know exactly what they should be doing on the market. Whether you're trading Forex, crypto, or stocks, this will apply to you. I'll see you guys in class 2. Make sure that you go to vusidesigner.com. Make sure that you sign up with our affiliate partners and send us your UID using our WhatsApp line. I can already tell you, if I go to my Discord here, that already we started recording class 2 and people are printing money with all the signals that we're providing within the community. I actually made over 200% in at the time of me recording this class now, we are within the US elections, so the market is pumping, and we were predicting that. Look at that, I made over 200% trading layer 0, and I'm actually now currently also on a trade on layer 0, if I can click on that, which is currently bringing me 3,200. In fact, this trade was up by $5,000, $5,900, but I didn't close it because I know that this trade can give me a lot of money. And that's why I kept this trade going. If I click here, I'm expecting at least $14,000 to $15,000 on this trade. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in class 2. And we're going to be making more trades and obviously making more money. Make sure that you like and subscribe, and make sure that you don't miss the next class. When that class is available, I'm going to pin it here on the screen right now. But if it's not available, make sure that you do subscribe and turn on post notifications, and also be part of our Discord, because we're going to be dropping the information as soon as that class is available. It does take me a very long time to put this information together, but I hope that I did my best in presenting my ideas when it comes to trading and how I'm actually trading. And also, me as an instructor, I'm also learning on a daily basis. So whatever I learn, I'm always gonna publish it here on our Discord or here on YouTube. So make sure that you're part of that. My name is @vusidesigner. I'll see you guys on the next class. Goodbye for now. Peace.